I'm here to ruffle some feathers. Yes, that's my mission for today. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my unpopular opinions about friendships, which some of you might consider crazy, but I strongly believe will change your perspective on the way you relate with your friends and how you consider relationships in general. As usual, I've left timestamps below so that you can skip to the part you probably find more interesting or more bizarre. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. My first unpopular opinion about friendship is that you don't need a best friend. Yes, I said it. You don't need a best friend. I know that growing up, it was an idea that was sold to us. Like, it was a cool stuff to have just a single best friend. It was something that was considered essential. In fact, when you're a child, it was almost as if you don't have a best friend, you're an outlier. Like, have that person, that go-to person you hang out with, you have fun with, you eat lunch with. Anywhere they see you, they see the person. It just felt like a very cool idea, right? But as you grow, you realize that it's a bit impractical to have one person meet all your emotional needs. And that's where the problem is. Depending on one person, one single person to meet those emotional needs is a lot of pressure, both for you and for them. If you've watched my video on how to end friendships right, if you've not, I'll link it somewhere up. In that video, I spoke about how sometimes we feel dissatisfied with our friendships because someone is not meeting our demands and is not meeting up to the expectations that we want them to. But when we readjust their positions in our lives in such a way that their responsibilities have been minimized, they are able to serve us better and we feel more satisfied. And I think that's the same thing that happens when you have just one person. At some point, life happens, people get busy, you change locations, and you're not able to do those things or relate with the person in the way that you used to before. And if your emotional needs, your emotional support, and everything you need, advice is solely dependent on that person, at some point you start to feel like they're not meeting up to the standard, and that might trick you to believe that this person is no longer valuable to you when that's not really the case. And some people might argue that having a best friend also helps to give hierarchy to your friends and make it easier for you to know their positions in your life. But I also feel like that could be easily achieved when you have different go-to persons for different aspects and all your friends acknowledge that, or all your friends are aware of that. You can have friends who you feel really understand you and who share certain sentiments with you on certain aspects of life. When issues around those things come up, it might be easier for you to communicate with those friends or tell them first. And the friend who you usually would meet for financial advice should not feel upset because they're not even knowledgeable in that thing, or they don't know you in that way to engage in that kind of conversation or deep talk. Same way, if you have friends who you meet for financial advice, that's their expertise. And if, for instance, you have a financial emergency and you need someone to give you professional advice or quality advice or an advice you really consider valuable or that you can trust that is going to work, your friend who you relate with on emotional things might not be your go-to. So if you have your friends diversified in that way, in such a way that they all understand their purpose in your life, they'll be able to meet your needs without you putting so much pressure on them. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a best friend if that works for you, but my point is that it is not essential. What matters is that you have a close friend group who you trust and who caters to different aspects of your life without too much pressure. And I don't think it's necessary to try to box yourself into trying to fit into someone's best friend label or try to force someone to fit into your own label of a best friend. I really think it's too much pressure and I think it's not necessary. Having a best friend is not a necessity, and it's not important as well to be someone's best friend. My second unpopular opinion might sound harsh, but hear me out. Some friendships are transactional, and that's okay. Usually, when we hear the word transactional in the context of a relationship, what comes to most people's head is that you're using someone or you're just trying to reap where you did not sow. But that's not completely what it is really about. A transactional friendship could also be that you're in a friendship with someone for a specific benefit, and it's not because you're the only one benefiting, the person is also benefiting. And that's why it's a friendship, not a parasitic relationship. It could be for professional reasons, it could be for like hobbies, it could be for academic purposes. Let's be real here, there are people who don't share the same values as us, but you find out that your study techniques are similar, so you study together and you guys are always together. But it's specifically for the purpose of studying. You guys probably don't even say anything personal. And that's the thing. Because you don't say anything outside of the specific reason for which that friendship was created, some people think friendships like that are fake, but that's not the case. The fact that these friendships meet a specific goal does not make them fake. They are just focused and they're important in their own ways. Because your best friend might be in a different career pathway and you find somebody else in your workplace or somebody who shares the same professional goals as you. It's more logical for you to tag along with them and you guys have mutual understanding. You guys help yourself share materials, do things together, and basically help yourself to achieve that goal. And sometimes these transactional relationships can morph into becoming deeper friendships and then people get more personal. But what I'm trying to say is, in the case that you've identified that this is strictly a transactional relationship, it's important to understand it for what it is so that you don't force it into becoming a personal one and have expectations based on that, or mismanage the friendship because you think it's not important or because you feel like it's not meeting you on a deeper level. And it's also important to understand that they don't necessarily have to move into your close friendship circle to be considered friend enough, or you don't have to make them perform certain roles to be considered friends enough. You just need to make peace with the idea that the kind of relationship you have with this person is transactional and you manage your expectations based on that and get the best out of it. And in the case that the purpose for which it was started has been accomplished, you don't feel pressured to want to continue the friendship because really it has served this purpose. Nobody got hurt, nobody offended each other. The purpose for the friendship has just been accomplished and it needs to end. This next one might shock a lot of people, but hear me out. Adult friendships is not hard. The problem is a lot of us are difficult people. A lot of us are entitled. A lot of us are unnecessarily needy. I know we've been hearing a lot about how it's hard maintaining adult friendships and how because of time and schedule and different locations, it's just difficult to maintain friendships as an adult. But I strongly believe that if there is genuine care and support, it doesn't have to be that hard. Sure, schedules can get tight, life gets busy, people move into different phases of life, but adult friendships don't have to be complicated. If you're trying your best to put in effort into this friendship and the other person is able to understand that you are really committed to this friendship as much as you possibly could within the limits of what you can give at that point in time, and they're able to appreciate it, I think usually things just work out. You don't have to talk every day. The problem is some of us have this grandiose idea about what friendship is supposed to be like. We need to talk every day, we need to hang out every Friday, we need to be everywhere together, we need to, like, it doesn't have to be that. And again, like I said before, a lot of us are really difficult, such that even when our friends are doing their best possible to prove to us that they are really committed to us, the moment they don't do the slightest thing, they have become enemies. We take a lot of things to heart. We take a lot of things too seriously. Life is not supposed to be that serious. Really, yes, we have expectations of what our friends are supposed to do for us. But sometimes, really, put yourself in the shoes of those people and see if it is really possible for them to do those things we're asking them to do. Sometimes it's just not realistic. It baffles me how sometimes I see people whose friendships are really thriving well. In my opinion, they go all out and beyond for each other. But then just because she didn't get me a gift on my birthday, I understand your birthdays might be really special to you and you want your friends to remember it. But let me tell you, sometimes life is really busy. If my friends don't wish me a happy birthday, I will be more concerned about if they are okay than why they didn't wish me a happy birthday. Because in so many other ways, they've shown me that they are committed to me beyond things like my birthday. I understand people have different opinions about things like that because they value things differently. But then all I'm saying is, if you genuinely look at the core thing that should be in a friendship, the core values that should sustain a friendship, the major keys, the major pillars that should sustain a friendship, if your friendship has it, then every other thing is inconsequential. And again, another reason people think it's complicated is because we don't empathize enough with people. Oh, this person has not called me, or this person has not done this, or this person has not done this. But what about the welfare of the person? And also the problem is, a lot of us adults are not vulnerable enough to even the people we call our friends. So they don't even know how to help us. They don't know how to be committed to us. We just wake up one morning, we are grumpy, nobody understands what is really going on in our lives. We don't want to express our feelings. So even our friends don't know how to help us. They don't know how to come in. They don't know what matters to us, because today it is birthday. Tomorrow it is hanging out. Another day. So it's just confusing. So like I said, yes, life gets busy, but really, adult friendships are not hard. A lot of us are just difficult people. Another unpopular opinion I have about friendship is that your friend's enemy is not your enemy. I know that a lot of people will not agree with this, but I still said what I said. So if your friend doesn't like someone, I don't think it's wise to automatically hate the person just because your friend doesn't like the person. And the funny thing is, sometimes your friend is actually the person who is wrong, but because of loyalty, you acquire a new enemy just because you're friends with someone else. I honestly don't think it's a healthy way to live life, because really you're going to make lots and lots of enemies. Of course, if someone treated your friend badly, or someone had a squabble with your friend and you've ascertained that yes, this person is really not a good person to relate with, then it's a good decision to distance yourself from this person on the basis that they've proven not to be reliable, or on the basis that they've proven to be insincere. But when you just hate someone, you're just hostile to someone just because the person is your friend's enemy, or just because your friend has told you, I don't rapport with this person, or I don't talk to this person, the person has automatically become one of the people you're hostile to. You meet the person somewhere unprovoked, you just get angry, you're passive aggressive towards the person. I think that's really unnecessary. I think at best, if there's someone your friend is concerned about or doesn't want to relate with, the best you can do is to distance yourself from the person. Not that you're quarreling with the person or you're deliberately against the person. This does not also mean that you actively now try to be best friends with someone your close friend is not comfortable with. In some situations, what really transpired between these two people happened before you came into the picture. So sometimes you're not even clear on what really happened, and you're just picking sides in a fight that started before you showed up. I don't think it's a wise thing to do. I don't think it's a healthy way to live. Being loyal to someone doesn't mean you're obliged to treat someone exactly the same way your friend is treating them. I find it exhausting to be holding grudges over someone else's issues. I know these ideas may not be your cup of tea, but embracing some of these ideas have helped me maintain healthier relationships, maintain my individuality, have my peace of mind while still relating with people comfortably. It makes friendships more enjoyable, more wholesome, and you're able to flourish in them without feeling like you're losing your personality. So I would love to hear from you. Which ones do you agree with, and which ones do you think are really crazy? Also, do you have any unpopular opinions about friendships? I would love to read them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, I'm so sure you enjoyed this video where I spoke about some traits I've come to value in friendships by virtue of navigating life as someone who is living with a deformity. Oh, that was a mouthful, but you get the point. Like this video, share it, and join me on this channel. Let's grow into a better version of ourselves, one video at a time. See you in my next video. Bye.